Alright guys, welcome to the Crypto Corner. Okay, so I'm doing a new segment. It's called Crypto Corner with Joe P. I'm basically going to be pulling you guys into my journey, learning about crypto and exploring crypto and what it is and things like that. And so that brings me to the next point, or the first point, is what is crypto? Today we're going to talk about crypto, Bitcoin, what they are, how they are used. So let's get into it. This is not financial advice. I want to tell you guys now, I am not a financial advisor. I'm actually a physical therapist that happens to do YouTube, okay? So I just think cryptocurrency is really, really cool, and I've gotten into it, recently, and I think it's a good thing to be doing, but this is not financial advice. All right, so first off, what is crypto? How is it created? Things like that. So what is crypto? Crypto is basically a digital asset. So instead of having a dollar bill, you have this digital coin or a cryptocurrency that you can trade between people. And that brings us to what Bitcoin is. So Bitcoin is a type of cryptocurrency. They're not the same, one is the other, right? So basically, Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency to be created in 2008, 2009 by some guy that honestly, we don't even know who it is. His name is Satoshi Nakamoto. He basically is a figure that no one really knows exactly who he is, but supposedly he has over 1 million Bitcoin, with today it's valued at about $62,000 for one Bitcoin. So this dude clearly has some money if that's the case. So why did he create Bitcoin? What is it even for? Bitcoin is basically a way to decentralize exchanges of these currencies. I'm going to get into decentralized versus centralized in a second, because you have to understand what that actually means to understand cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. So basically, centralized exchanges are banks, things like that. They basically say, hey, you give us your fiat or your gold or your money, we are going to back it and say that, yeah, this $1 is actually worth $1. And so we are going to now let you use these $1, but we're going to hold on to them. So you basically just have to trust us that we're going to say that this $1 is valued at $1. It's not going to change, it's not going to get pulled and anything like that. There's pros and cons to that, of course. I'm not really going to get into that too much, of course, especially with inflation and things like that being a part of the problem with this issue of the centralization. But then that brings us to decentralization. So decentralization, instead of you taking your money, bringing it to a bank, they saying, yes, you have this money, them giving it to you to spend to someone else, there's no middleman, okay? So decentralization basically means I take my crypto, I give it to that person now has more crypto, I now have less crypto. Easy as that, right? So for every single transaction of a cryptocurrency, it is written on a ledger. It is on the internet that you can actually physically go see. Every single transaction is typed out in this code or this coin that now you own as this digital asset. And so it is very obvious. You can look at it. It's pseudo-anonymous, basically, meaning that you can see the transactions, but you can't see the person that made the transaction. So you can receive or give this currency to people just like you would for anything else, but it's kind of hidden a little bit of exactly who gave it to you if you want it to be, which is nice, of course, because then you literally know you gave this person money, they got the money, that's it. There's no fees in between there for the most part, depending on where you trade, of course, your cryptocurrency, but that's why it is so nice. Now, the thing that had to be created with cryptocurrency was what's called the blockchain. So each transaction that is made is done on this chain of blocks, this massive nodes of blocks that keep track of every single transaction. So instead of you giving your money to the bank, they keeping record of it on a computer and saying, yep, Joe has this much money, okay, great. Now if money's taken out, then it goes away. Now the issue is if something happens to like this computer in this bank, well, then something's gonna happen, right? Well, For cryptocurrency, that's not the case because one computer is not looking at it saying that you have this money. It is every single node that has been mining Bitcoin or these cryptocurrencies that creates this massive chain of hundreds of thousands of computers or nodes that view every single transaction that is updated constantly, consistently updated by every single one of these computers. So you cannot change or create or steal this money because if you changed one thing in this chain of blocks, basically the passing between one block to the next means that you made a transaction and every single one of these computers saw that that transaction was being made, and so now the block that was just transaction to the next block has been changed from here to here. Every single block after that chain of blocks is going to have to change with it. It's kind of confusing, but if you simplify it, basically think about it as a consistently changing series of blocks that cannot be altered because there's not one person looking at it. There's hundreds of thousands of people looking at it. So if someone tries to cheat the system, those hundreds of thousands of people say, well, you're the only person that had a different change. We all saw that that didn't change, and we don't want all of that to change because that affects everything else. So you're not changing it. You're trying to cheat the system. That ain't happening. So it's really, really complex system on how they built it, but it's a fantastic way because you can't really steal this money. You can't just rob this bank, so to speak. Now that brings us to Bitcoin mining. That's a pretty popular thing, probably talk about it in a different video itself, but Bitcoin mining creates new nodes for, instead of 100,000, we're trying to make 200,000 or 300,000, which would make it more efficient. It would make it safer for all of these cryptocurrencies to be exchanged between parties because there's more eyes watching these transactions, which is pretty darn cool. And then the people that do the Bitcoin mining, they actually get paid in Bitcoin. They say, okay, thank you for doing us a service, for making more of these nodes. We're gonna pay you in Bitcoin. It's kind of like the charging stations for like those mopeds, like in the big cities and stuff. You can just hop on there and drive around and zip around and almost crash, which I almost did when we were in St. Louis last. Yeah, it's crazy. We were going super fast. But anywho, the people in the town are able to get a charging station, and if they do charge these things, they'll get paid by the company. So it's kind of a win-win for both parties there. So basically, I talked a lot about Bitcoin. Bitcoin, again, is a type of cryptocurrency. Now, there are many cryptocurrencies out there right now. Some have been going on for years. Some have a lot of actual backing behind it of exactly what is going on. Bitcoin is kind of, it goes by supply and demand. So there's only a select or finite number of Bitcoin in the world that will be able to be mined. And so at some point when we cap out of all of the Bitcoin being mined, then it goes off of supply and demand of these numbers. Okay, so you can't just print more dollars of Bitcoin. It doesn't work that way. There's an end number. Now that's just one type of coin, like I said, or one type of cryptocurrency. Other cryptocurrencies basically do a lot of other things. I will get into these in other videos because I think they are fascinating, like I said. So we will get into those later of what they do and how they interact with other ones and how they build upon each other. But for right now, super low level of what is crypto, what is Bitcoin, why would I even think about using it? Okay, so hopefully you liked the video and you got something out of it. Like I said, I'm gonna be spinning this many different ways on cryptocurrencies, what's hot, what's upcoming, what are the new things, and what are probably the things that you should be staying away from. So till next time, make sure that you like this video if you got anything out of it. If you understood maybe just a little bit more about cryptocurrency, make sure that you like the video, subscribe to our channel because we're gonna have lots more coming at you. Till next time.